comments coming from Francis about the American bishops, who are all, I'd say all, are largely having the same conversations that we're having, and the U.S. College of Catholic Bishops being much more outspoken about the errors and the statements that Francis is committing. And on more than one occasion now, he has chided them and chastised them for what he says being backwardsness within Christianity and with the church, and not being forward-looking and not being open to the evolution of doctrine. And really, it just, those statements in particular for me were most jarring, even as an Anglican observer, because they were virtually indistinguishable from any sort of secular leftist criticism of conservative movements, of conservative Christianity as a whole.
Right. There's a ton of sociology going on here, right? He's an Argentine, right?
And a Jesuit.
A Jesuit who is steeped in liberation theology that's dominated South America for 50 years. I really don't believe that Francis doesn't understand America. He doesn't understand, and he resents America's role in the world. And he doesn't understand that, he doesn't understand capitalism, which can be very clunkety, right? It's not a perfect system. It's just better than any other economic system ever devised by humankind.
To paraphrase Churchill, of course.
Right. And it creates the most wealth, but ultimately, if it's left alone, it will distribute wealth the best too, if it's left alone.
Yeah.
But he has this dislike of America's military might, its role in the world, as if America's military might and its role in the world hadn't been present for the last 100 years, there would even be a world. It saved the world. And it did it without being imperial.
Yeah, in large part.
Right. It didn't take over any land. We could have taken over all of Europe after the Second World War. It's just strange.
The example that strikes me the most is World War II, how the United States rebuilt Japan, and less than half a century later, Japan was the most powerful economy in the world.
Yeah.
And the United States could have taken every opportunity to simply colonize Japan and keep it under its boot, but it didn't.
Not solely, but overwhelmingly, percentage-wise, as far as resources, a certain military presence, we would rebuild all of Western Europe.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a unified Germany if it wasn't for our presence in Western Germany, right? The fact that we basically are NATO, right, and defend NATO. It's our military might up on the Turkish border and on the Russian border that kept peace, brought the wall down. So all of that stuff, we could get in a big rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to get any credit. But the thing that, I'm going to go back to your point about the American conscience of Catholic bishops. This is not a conservative group of people.
No.
There are
pockets.
Pockets. I would put in about 20% of bishops in the Catholic Conference would be men you and I would want to follow.
Yeah.
Particularly the cardinals he has appointed are complete leftists. And he's overstepped people far more deserving that historically have always been made cardinals and didn't make them cardinals. Instead, he picked people who are pro-homosexual relationships and a whole bunch of other issues to put them in the College of Cardinals. And so I can't, personally, when I listen to Francis, I can't delineate between his merging of the episcopate, the Catholic episcopate, and American social politics. He kind of merges them into this single milieu. And again, there's no way a pope should be that ignorant about the mightiest country in the history of the world. But I believe he is. And there's just this strong dislike of it. Excellent article on the Catholic thing this past month. I don't know if you saw it. Maybe you and I exchanged it, but it was a layperson saying, "Why does the Pope dislike me so much as a Catholic?"
I don't know that I read that one.
As a Catholic layperson, why does the Pope dislike me? And he pointed out, or I think it was the article was written by, and he pointed out all of these hot spots around the world where there's just disarray in the Catholic Church and with governments doing, obviously just far more horrific things than the country that supplies the most aid to anybody in the world, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, not at
Doesn't
all.
make any sense. So I wish I could give our audience some rationale that would at least be logical, but I can't.